Hey everyone, Michelle here and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my June TBR video. So for June there are 2 readathons that I want to participate in. That is Whateverthon hosted by Maddie and ClearUrSht 2.5 hosted by the narrator, but also hosted on Andy aka Mouse's channel. I will link both announcement videos down below and the Twitter if I get around to it. You might have tell by my voice I am a bit nasally. I do have a cold, so I'm going to try and get through this really quickly. Cards on the table, May has been an awful reader month for me, so this TBR may be totally different by the end of June. Even though I am wanting to participate in 2 readathons, I'm only going to go through the prompts for ClearUrSht, because Whateverthon is literally read whatever you want and try and fit it if you can and stretch it as much as you want. Saying that, I will show you the bingo board I'm using for Whateverthon. So on Whateverthon there are 4 teams, and I have, after careful consideration because I got really confused looking at all the boards, I have chosen to be on the Shelf Slayers team. This is the bingo board. Those that are in grey are non-reading prompts and the ones that are in purple are for our specific team. You can hit 3 prompts per book and you make bingos and you get points, and again it'll all be in the announcement video. But as you can see, it's very varied. So I'm going to just read what I want for ClearUrSht and then just fit it somewhere in this. But speaking of ClearUrSht, there is a bingo board. However, I have it in lines. So these are the prompts for ClearUrSht 2.5. If you've been on my channel, you know I do ClearUrSht in November and December because it's a 2-month-long readathon. 2.5 is just a month-long readathon for half the prompts, so 9. I'm going to stop waffling and get into the prompts and the book I'm going to read. So for Walkman, the prompt is to read a book that you've been avoiding the longest. This book I have put on TBRs, I've taken off TBRs. I've gone to pick up when I'm mood reading, put it down without even opening it. So that book is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. Stella and Desiree are identical twins growing up together in a small southern black community, until at age 16 they run away. Years later, everything about their lives is different, their families, communities and racial identities. One sister lives with her black daughter in the same southern town she once tried to escape. The other sister secretly passes as white, and her husband knows nothing of her past. Still, separated by many miles and just as many lies, the fates of the twins remain intertwined. What will happen in the next generation when their own daughter's storylines intersect? For Breakfast Club, the prompt is to read a book with food themes or food items, and for this one I have gone for The Dinner Guest by B.P. Walter. Cutlery, dinner, it's all food. 4 people walked into the dining room that night. One would never leave. Matthew, the perfect husband. Titus, the perfect son. Charlie, the perfect illusion. Rachel, the perfect stranger. Charlie didn't want Rachel at the book club. Matthew wouldn't listen. For girls that just want to have fun, the prompt is to read a book with multiple POVs. Obviously, for my readathons and TBRs, I pick books that I haven't read yet. So I had no idea what books I had that had multiple POVs. So I literally just went through books that I thought, you might have one, you might have one, you might have one, and decided from there. Saying that, the book I picked is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I think it's Olivia because it's not an I on the end, so it's Olivia Blake. Or Olive maybe, I don't know. Welcome to the Alexandrian Society. When the world's best magicians are offered an extraordinary opportunity, saying yes is easy. Each could join the secretive Alexandrian Society, whose custodians guard lost knowledge from ancient civilizations. Their members enjoy a lifetime of power and prestige, yet each decade only 6 practitioners are invited to fill 5 places. Contenders Libby Rhodes and Nico de Verona are inseparable enemies. Cosmologists who can control matter with their minds. Parissa Kamali is a telepath who sees the mind's deepest secrets. Raina Mori is a naturalist who can perceive and understand the flow of life itself. And Callum Nova is an empath who can manipulate the desires of others. Finally, there's Tristan Kane, whose powers mystify even himself. Following recruitment by the mysterious Atlas Blakely, they travel to the Society's London headquarters. Here, each must study and innovate within esoteric subject areas, and if they can prove themselves over the course of the year, they'll survive. Most of them. For next, the prompt is to either read a sci-fi book or a book with technology. I don't read that genre, so for this one I went to Ada, and Ada picked me Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I think this was her favourite book of 2021. Ryland Grace is a sole survivor on a desperate last chance mission, and if he fails, humanity and the earth itself will perish. Except that right now he doesn't know that. He can't even remember his own name, let alone the nature of his assignment or how to complete it. All he knows is that he's been asleep for a very, very long time, and he's just been awakened to find himself millions of miles from home with nothing but 2 corpses for company. His crewmates dead, his memories fuzzily returning, Ryland realises that an impossible task now confronts him. Hurtling through space on this tiny ship, it's up to him to puzzle out an impossible scientific mystery and conquer an extinction-level threat to our species. And with the clock ticking down and the nearest human being light years away, he has to do it all alone. Or does he? Intriguing. For Polaroid, the prompt is to read a book with people on the cover. I slightly bending this one. I picked Hot British Boyfriend by Christy Boyce. There's people, they're just cartoonish. After a horrifying public rejection by her crush, Ellie Nichols does what any girl would do. She flees the country. To be more precise, she joins her high school study abroad trip to England. While most of her classmates are there to take honour courses and pad their college applications, Ellie is on a quest to rebuild her reputation and self-confidence. And nothing is more of a confidence booster than getting a hot British boyfriend. When Ellie meets Will, a gorgeous and charming Brit, she vows to avoid making the same mistake she did with the last guy she liked. Which is why she strikes up a bargain with Dev, an overachieving classmate who she's never clicked with, but who does seem to know a lot about the things Will is interested in. If he helps her win over her crush, then she'll help him win over his. But even as Ellie embarks on a whirlwind romance, she still needs to figure out if this is actually the answer to all her problems, and whether the perfect boyfriend is actually the perfect boy for her. For Care Bears, the prompt is to read a comforting book. I'm going very wide off the mark of what I think a lot of people would class as a comforting book, and picked The Devil's Advocate by Steve Kavanagh, purely because, for me, a comfort read is a really good thriller. Now, this is book 6 in the Eddie Flynn series. However, I always reread the blurb while I'm filming this. There are no spoilers for the previous books. So I'll read you the synopsis. Ambitious District Attorney Randall Korn lives to watch prisoners executed, even if they are not guilty. An innocent man, Andy Dubois, faces the death penalty for the murder of a young girl. Korn has already fixed things to make sure he wins a fast conviction. The one thing Korn didn't account for is Eddie Flynn. Slick, street smart and cunning, the former con artist turned New York lawyer has only 7 days to save an innocent man from a corrupt system and find the real killer. In a week, the judge will read the verdict. But will Eddie be alive to hear it? For Manic Monday, the prompt is to pick a book that you think you'll finish over a weekend to avoid a Manic Monday. And for this one, I have gone for Magic Lessons by Alice Hoffman. This is the prequel to Practical Magic. So for me, it's a bit of a chunker, but I think if I just dedicated myself to this for a full weekend and nothing else, it could be done. For centuries, the women of the Owens family have been cursed. Any man who loves an Owens woman will die. It begins with a baby abandoned in a snowy English field in the 1600s. Gentle Hannah Owens takes the baby in, and as the child grows, Hannah teaches little Maria about the unnamed arts. Maria has a gift for them, a gift that may well prove her undoing. When Maria is abandoned by the man she loves, she invokes a curse that will haunt her family for centuries. Because magic has rules, and they must be obeyed. And for Rainbow Bright, the prompt is to read a book with LGBTQIA+ rep. So for this one, I've picked Perfect on Paper by Sophie Gonzalez. Darcy Phillips has a secret. Even Brooke, her best friend, who she hopes could someday be more, is clueless. Darcy is behind infamous Locker 89, providing an anonymous, questionably legal relationship advice service at her school. But then disaster strikes. Her identity is uncovered by Australian new kid Alexander Broman. If word gets out that Darcy's behind the locker, Brooke will probably never speak to her again. Darcy will do whatever it takes to contain it. She strikes a deal. In exchange for him keeping her secret, Darcy will help entitled Bratty and annoyingly hot Brougham win his ex-girlfriend back. What could possibly go wrong? And this has LGBTQIA+ rep in it because our main character is bi. So I will somehow fix them 9 books into the prompts for Whateverthon. But I am missing a book, and that is for Buzzwordathon. For June, the prompt is to read a book with all in the title. For this one, I have gone for Mortmain Hall by Martin Edwards. There you go, Mortmain Hall. England, 1930. Grieving widows are a familiar sight on London's Necropolis Railway. So when an elegant young woman in a black veil boards a funeral train, no one guesses her true purpose is to save a life, not to mourn one. But Rachel Savernake's mission is derailed by a death on the tracks, spurring her on to investigate a sequence of baffling mysteries. A death in a blazing car, a killing in a seaside bungalow, a drowning in a frozen lake. Rachel is sure the cases are connected. To prove her theory, she joins a house party at Mortmain Hall on the eerie remote northern Yorkshire coast. A house party where the other guests are also fascinated with the idea of the perfect crime. And there you have my TBR for June as I have planned it now. Like I said at the beginning of this video, my reading for May has gone downhill rapidly and I'm feeling a reading slump coming on. So I'm literally thinking, if I go to pick a book up for a prompt, I don't want to read it, but I have another book that I want to read that fits, I'm swapping. And we'll see how it goes. But saying that, have you read any of the books I've picked this month? If you have, please let me know your thoughts down below. Are you participating in either readathon or both? Please let me know and link your TBR videos. I would love to give them a watch. Literally, that's all I've been doing in my reading slump days, is just watch YouTube. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you are new to my channel, hi, my name's Michelle. I am a chaotic mess. And depending on my mood, depends on if I review a book, which in my case is spoil it completely for you or be so vague that you wonder if I've actually read it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider clicking the subscribe button. If you don't want to, that's not a problem. But until the next video, bye.